1 minute till the stream's supposed to start. Yeah, let's get you and Alex in this real quick. Honey, do you want to put that in the pot fire? Did it put it in your hands?
Man, we got a return right here.
We got a return. You can see.
Start.
Okay. Hey, you can get on. You're welcome to join us.
Yeah, you can. No, come on. All right, so we'll just see those scenics and then. Rickwood Field, the oldest ballpark in the United States of America and site of the Giants and the Cardinals starting game 1 of this 3-game series. It's a historic week for Major League Baseball and a historic time as Willie Mays passed away on Tuesday. The Giants remembering Willie Mays all week long, as is Major League Baseball. We are live from Rickwood Field. Laura Britt alongside our Giants insider Alex Pavlovic and somebody that got to know Willie Mays very well, Brandon Crawford, joining us now. Brandon, great to see you. And I know it's probably been an emotional week for all the people that got to know Willie Mays. What was your favorite memory? That's how a lot of people are remembering him right now.
I mean, there were a lot of times seeing him in the clubhouse during spring training and like the question and answers and sitting down with him, and he signed about 5 or 6 different things out of my locker because he told me to just keep bringing more stuff. Like he signed a ball, a bat, signed one of my brand new gloves. So I mean, there are a lot of good memories of Willie. One of my favorites was actually during the Q&A. Somebody asked him what he would do when he got in a slump, and Willie, kind of classic Willie, goes, I don't remember ever being in a slump. I might have gone 0 for 4 one time, and that was just like classic Willie. Like
nobody questions that either.
Yeah, I mean, he probably never did go into a slump. So I always love remember back on that one.
You told me one time that you actually met him, I think at Don and Charlie's when you were a kid for the first time. What was it like having that experience? We know your story, obviously, but having that experience with Willie and then growing up and playing for the team that he was watching.
Well, that was probably the second time. Now that my dad showed me that picture of me as being 5 years old with him holding me up. So I guess that was probably the first time I met him. I think the second time was probably at Don and Charlie's. But it's just, I mean, getting to know him, it's no surprise that even though he was at a restaurant and some annoying little kid is asking him for an autograph, he didn't mind signing the piece of paper or whatever that I had for him. But I mean, just hearing stories from my dad or, other Giants fans growing up about how good of a player he was and, one of the best players of all time, getting to know him and develop a relationship was obviously really special.
The quick trick for you guys, you were in last night, you're leaving tonight, but when you got to Rickwood Field today, what does this game mean to you to be here?
I mean, really special. I think it was initially a tribute to the Negro Leagues and the history of all that, but now I feel like it's more of a memorial for Willie, even more than it probably already was. So it's really special to be a part of. They did a great job with this field. That was the first thing I noticed when I walked out here, is how well they've done to keep this field looking really nice.
Was it the heat that you noticed first?
Well, I noticed that. That was when I got out of the car. When I walked on the field, I noticed how nice the field was.
It's a little more used to it now in St. Louis than in San Francisco.
So.
You're facing the Giants for the first time. You're also playing third base for the first time. Which one are you more nervous about?
Third base, probably. I was more excited about playing against the Giants. So third base makes me a little nervous just because I've never done it before. I mean, I imagine running out there and probably have similar feelings when I pitched last year, just because I had never done it, on that type of stage before. So, but I've taken a lot of ground balls during batting practice and stuff like that, and trying to get ready and prepare for it. In a way, also looking forward to it. So.
Brandon, a lot of people in the Bay Area really care about you and the legacy that you have with the Giants. How's everything been going in St. Louis for you?
It's been good. I mean, a lot more mentoring than playing. But I knew that coming in when I signed. That was kind of my plan going into this year. So it's been fun. It's a good group of guys. And Mason's done a great job, the shortstop. For those that don't know, in San Francisco. He's done a great job this year, so it's been fun to watch him, become an even better player and grow.
Brandon, thanks for stopping by. Good to see you.
No problem. Good to see you guys. Thanks.
All right.
We're still on.
Yeah. Great. Say hi to everybody. Good luck. I know you have. Everybody's trying to grab you. No. Tomorrow. I know. Yeah. All right, Nabs, we got one interview down. Brandon Crawford, good to catch up with him. And I think really a summary over the past 24, 48 hours for us has been here at Rickwood Field. Many of you probably got the chance to see the tour that I took of Rickwood Field and the mural that's been unveiled here in Birmingham. So it's a real tribute to Willie Mays here. It's also the history here. Major League Baseball really tried to stay true to the history of the ballpark. And that's some of what Brandon was talking about. They had to redo the field to get it up to Major League standards, but so much of this field is historic. And when you walk in, the walls from 1910, those bricks are the same.
It's funny, the clubhouse is a tent. It has air conditioning. It is kind of partitioned off everywhere. So there's the trainer's room and their locker room. It's makeshift. They're only here for a few hours. So that is all new. Everything else here is the same way it was when Willie played, when Jackie Robinson was here, and Satchel Paige, all those legends. So there's a lot of that. Another legend.
Another legend coming up.
Dave, you, first of all, did a very nice job on radio the other night. I'm sure a difficult moment. But what was your experience with Willie? Maybe the first time you met him or first time you really got to experience Willie Mays.
Yeah, hopefully you heard it in my voice the other night where how much he meant to me and to all of us. He was just like, for a guy who truly was like, maybe overuse the word icon, like Willie Mays was an icon. He was a hero for so many people. And then he became my friend and invited me to his house and like gave me his birthday cake and started handing me stuff from his garage and would always talk to me and say, just like for somebody of that stature to treat people like us the way he did, he loved the Giants, loved baseball, unlike probably anybody who ever lived. And I'm so sad that he's gone, but I'm so happy that we're here. What an amazing thing. He grew up, like 4 miles from here, something like that. And we're at this park where he played when he was 16 years old, ran right out to that spot 2 days after he died. Like with the big league Giants here, that I just can't even wrap my mind around that.
Yeah, that moment that you mentioned, the radio call that you had the other day, the television calls that you've had on Tuesday. Can you take us through how difficult that moment was? I mean, in broadcasting, things like that don't happen often. You can't really prepare yourself for a moment like that.
No, and we did hear Larry Bear was there. He told us before the game started, so that was like an hour before we released the news. So I kind of figured, well, there's the gut punch, and you have your sort of emotional moment then. I thought, well, okay, that gives me some time for when everybody's organized, the family is cool, that we say it. And then we got the text, okay, now we can say it. So we came back from the commercial break, and I think the first thing I said is, you're going to have to forgive me, because I knew I was sort of teetering. And then I spent the entire inning, I literally, physically could not say the words. And I've never had that happen, and I wasn't fake. It wasn't like, I wasn't trying to play up the drama. My brain knew what I wanted to do, and it just wouldn't come out. I could not say it. So finally, I went up to Logan today. I'm like, dude, you had like a 6-pitch inning. You didn't give me any time to compose myself. And so the final out gets recorded, and I already said, all right, I'm going to say it now. I have to. I told people we have some sad news to report. So I thought maybe the pressure of where the inning ended, and I just said it, and I just lost it. And it was genuine. It's not like he was 93 years old. He was sick. It's not like it was a shock to all of us. We knew it was going to be sometime, and probably sometime pretty soon. But maybe it was just I didn't want to have to be he meant so much to so many people. You kind of hate to have to be the person to tell that news to everybody else. And maybe that's what it was. Now, I'm really sad that he's gone. I'm going to miss him like crazy, but I've got a smile on, because when you talk about Willie, you should smile. He was, I loved it, but in that moment, I've never had that happen before.
I would imagine he was listening to you and John quite a bit over the years. Did he ever give you feedback, good or bad?
Well, yeah. I mean, he would talk all the time about, so what do you mean by that? He'd ask about a certain play, or he was watching and listening all the time, especially as his eyesight got worse and worse. He relied on the radio broadcast a lot. So, I mean, how cool is that? We always knew Willie, and if it was like his birthday or an anniversary of an event or something, and we said, hey, today's the anniversary of his 4-home run day in 1961 in Milwaukee, we'd get a text from Renee like, oh, Willie's watching. He just smiled. He says to say hi or whatever. So we knew he was always watching. That was cool. Like, talk about a thrill of this job to know that Willie Mays is watching and listening. Awesome.
Dave, I got to tell you, to see everybody sporting the Birmingham stuff warms my heart.
Yeah, it's your town.
Yeah, and Willie's town.
And
we got the chance to talk to his son, and this place meant so much to him. The Bay Area meant so much to him, and I think seeing everybody sporting Birmingham here would make him smile. He probably is right now. Thanks, Dave.
So glad we're here. Great to see you all.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, you guys also got the chance to catch up with CC Sabathia recently. We had the celebrity game last night, so a lot of athletes and of all different leagues, the NBA, Major League Baseball, and the NFL were all descended right here on Rickwood Field. Let's hear what you had to say.
The Bay Area CC Sabathia.
That's right. Let's hear it.
All right, the Bay Area CC Sabathia, a very special event here, but also a sad week. What was your reaction when you heard the news about Willie Mays?
Oh, it was incredibly sad. I mean, I was here at the ballpark yesterday when I got the text. I mean, it's super sad, obviously, just thinking about, him not being able to be here and be a part of the celebration. But then I was like, this is why we're here. We came down here to celebrate this man's life, and it feels right to be able to be here and put these events on in the wake of his passing. It feels right.
Did you ever get a chance to meet him?
Yeah, I met him a couple times. I got a chance to meet him as a young player, met him in the middle of my career, and then at the end. So I spent some time with him.
What do you remember about that first meeting with Willie?
Just me being nervous, but just every time I met him, and it was around him, just the joy that he brought into rooms. Like, he was always in a great mood. He would always let you know he was the best player on the planet, which is awesome. So, I just enjoy my interactions with him, and I think we as a baseball family are gonna miss him a lot.
You're a little bit too young to have watched him play, but when you look back, way too young.
He was in the Hall of Fame before I was born.
Yeah, when you look back on his stats and what he did, and especially what he was able to do at the Polo Grounds at Candlestick, what do you think of just the scope of his career?
No, if you talk to anybody that's seen him play, literally anybody that's seen him play, said he's the best baseball player to ever live. So I have to go with that.
Being here at Rickwood Field, obviously the celebrity softball game tonight and also the game on Thursday, what does it mean for Major League Baseball to have this event here?
No, I think it means this is the reason why I wanted to have this event and do this softball game, was to be able to celebrate and have a Juneteenth celebration and put on for the community. I'm excited to be down here at Rickwood. This field means everything to us as black baseball players because, this is where the dream started for Hank Aaron and for Willie and so many guys that were our grandparents' favorite players was the reason why we played the game. So this field is a direct connection to me playing baseball. It feels good to be here.
The timing of it, they folded in the Negro League stats as well recently. What does that mean, do you think, to the history of baseball?
I think it just completes it, I think it's been well stated, and I think everybody understands now that the Negro Leagues weren't a lesser league. It was equivalent to the league that was the MLB at the time. So, I'm excited to have those stats count, and it just completes the story.
I'll finish with this. You did have a chance potentially to be drafted by the Giants. They went a different direction.
That was their fault.
Yeah, it was their fault. You hit free agency. I think there was some interest there. You talked to them. Was there ever the pull of Willie and McCovey and Marichal and all the Hall of Famers? Obviously, you went to New York where there's the Hall of Famers there as well. But growing up in the Bay Area, was there that pull of
It
playing
was.
for the Giants?
There was a lot of pull at the beginning. Yeah, I would have loved to play for the Giants as a youngster. But once they skipped on me in the draft, then it was like, no, I want to beat you every time.
That was their fault. Cece, thanks for joining us.
No problem. Thanks.
So Alex Pavlovic catching up with CC Sabathia, and now you're seeing CC share his words on the passing of Willie Mays, what Mays meant to him. He meant so much to so many, as our guests coming through have shared their thoughts, and so many of you back home in the Bay Area watching have shared your thoughts on what Willie Mays meant to you. And we're joined now by Reggie Crawford, a new wave of the Giants. And I know, you probably didn't get the chance to be around Willie as much as some of these other players, but being here at Rickwood Field and honoring the Negro Leagues and this game, what does this all mean to you to be here and be a part of it?
Well, it's extremely special. I mean, I didn't get the chance to meet him, unfortunately, but I mean, just having all these guys here share his stories and just to be able to talk about him, just like, it just gives you insight on who he really was on a personal level, which, I'm really fortunate to be able to experience that, and it's been great so far. And just the vibes here, it's a little bit of everything, and it's just like it's perfect, honestly.
The Giants brought 10 players here to experience the whole thing. You guys were here last night as well. How did you find out that you were coming out here to Rickwood? And what does it mean to you guys to be here?
So they gave us a call, I think like maybe 4 or 5 days ago. And yeah, it was out of the blue, honestly. But, I think it shows who they are as an organization, how much, they value the players and the history of the game. Because, yeah, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And, again, just to be able to come out here and, share experiences and the insights and stuff, it's special.
And you've been working your way through the minors. How's everything going with that right now?
Everything's great. Can't complain. It's been smooth sailing so far. Gonna clean some stuff up with the arm. Let it calm down a little bit. But we'll be back out there real soon.
What's been your favorite part here, whether last night or getting to tour the stadium today? What's had the biggest impact on you?
I think just the conversations. I've been fortunate again to be able to meet a lot of these really cool names just over the past couple months, past couple of years. And it's always just really nice seeing them catching up, and just that's the stuff that you remember, or like the stories and just like the laughs you share and stuff like that. And it's always so much fun. It really is, and I'm thankful for all of it.
A lot of guys here, a lot of famous players. Is there anybody that you've enjoyed meeting and gotten the chance to talk to?
I mean, for me, being from Pennsylvania, on the Philly side, we got Ryan Howard and Jimmy Rollins and stuff, and I've met those guys before, but it's like it's crazy, It's like I was growing up watching those guys on TV, and now they're coming up and like, what's up, Reg, and all this stuff, and it's just like it's wild. It really is. But it's always so humbling being able to see those guys and just be able to chat, and yeah, it's something I'm appreciative for.
Reggie, it's good to see you here. We hope you're back out on the field soon and in AAA with the River Cats. And best of luck the rest of the season. We might see you in San Francisco at some point.
That's a win. Yeah. Hopefully soon. Thank you, guys.
This is hometown, so have fun. Have fun in Birmingham. Yeah. Great to see you. Bye. All right, that's Reggie Crawford getting the chance to come to Rickwood Field here in Birmingham, Alabama for this historic game. And there is a game that's going to be played, Pabs. There is a game that's happening tonight here at Rickwood Field. There's been so much lead up and discussions, and rightfully so, as people want to honor Willie Mays. But there's also the team, and the Giants have lost 2 in a row, so they're looking to climb out of a hole. They're 3 games out of 500 right now, and they look to get back on track tonight against the Cardinals.
Yeah, there's a game against a team that they're competing with in that kind of jumbled, weird wild card race in the National League. So yeah, an important series. I think tonight will be about Rickwood. It will be about Willie, but they will fly to St. Louis after this game, and the teams will meet on Saturday. And important week for them against the Cubs and the Cardinals. They have not played very well last week or so, and we do know that they're leaking oil in certain respects in terms of the pitching staff. And you've seen some good things break. They're going to go over in Chicago.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they're hoping that they can finish this trip on a better note. And certainly, it's been an emotional week for a lot of guys. A lot of guys on this current team did not meet Willie, but some of the veterans, Yastrzemski, Slater, Webb, those guys knew him. Bob Melvin knew him very well. His locker in 1986 was right between Willie Mays and Willie McCovey. So I think it's been an emotional week for guys. They're looking forward to probably on Saturday focusing on baseball again and trying to get on a little roll here.
Yeah, the Giants and Cardinals have an off day tomorrow. That was in case there was a rain delay. We are in the South. That can't happen. So if there was rain issues, yeah, it's very hot. If you can't tell, someone send us a fan, please. But yeah, they have that day off tomorrow, so they'll spend tonight traveling back to St. Louis. They'll have the day off. They'll wrap up the series over the weekend. We have been talking to all kinds of people the whole time we've been down here in Birmingham. We want to share some of that with you. Take a listen. T.O., being a guy from Alabama, just like Willie Mays was, and now you're stepping on the field that he got his start at. What does that mean to you, being here tonight?
Special. It's an honor just to understand, kind of like what he's done for the game of baseball. Obviously, his talent kind of speaks for itself. And then just to be part of, Black Negro League. I mean, it's awesome. And just to be out here to represent him and what he stood for, all his success, and then just everybody here just, celebrating. And just so unfortunate, the passing of him on the eve of this inaugural game. So I can't speak enough about, again, what he meant, for the sport of baseball. I'm sure the other baseball players that have obviously played, they can speak more to that than I can. But just obviously watching the highlights, this guy was a phenomenal talent.
Did you ever cross paths with him in the Bay Area?
Well, my son, Tariq Owens, is that's his godfather. So I have a picture. I haven't posted it yet. I called his grandmom last night because I know when he was younger, he has a picture of my son when he was a little baby. So I'm going to post that at some point during the course of the day.
So personally, what does Willie Mays mean to you?
I mean, just again, what he meant to the game, and obviously, like I said, the athleticism speaks for itself, but what he did for the sport of baseball. I mean, he was one of those pioneers, and again, like I said, just what he did for the sport of baseball, it means a lot. And then, like I said, just unfortunate, timing and passing of him at this point in time. Like I said, it makes everything today so special.
I'm a Birmingham native myself, and you're an Alabamian, and
Yep.
This is a big deal for the state, for the city.
Absolutely, and like I said, coming here, obviously, I want to perform well. This is a competition. I do not want to lose. Obviously, like I said, we got some BP in, so got a chance to put my eyes on the ball a little bit. So again, obviously, it's for a great cause. But like I said, I'm competitive. I want to win, and that's the main goal. But at the same time, have fun and just celebrate what's going on today.
Terrell, thank you.
All right, thank you.
That was Terrell Owens weighing in on Willie Mays and a whole host of other things. And now you're seeing a tweet from the 44th President of the United States, Barack Obama. I think this really encompasses a lot of how people feel. Obama saying Willie Mays wasn't just a singular athlete, blessed with an unmatched combination of great skill and power. He was also a wonderfully warm and generous person and an inspiration to an entire generation. I'm lucky to have spent time with him over the years. And Michelle and I send our deepest condolences to his family. But that's really the underlying theme here, Pavs. And when you hear these players and Dave Fleming and so many countless people that we've talked to talk about Willie, it's not just the player. It's not just his incredible athletic ability, which he did have. And Giants fans were blessed to be able to see that. It's also the person that he was, how warm he was. And I know you have some stories about him, too. You got to experience it.
I mean, he flew on Air Force One. So that's what you're talking about when you say the president. It was, for me, it was in spring training, just watching, and I've been doing this since 2012. There's never really been, as a reporter, there's nobody you're ever really afraid to go and approach. That was the one guy I was like, he is beyond approach for somebody who's, he's so far, like, off the scale here that there's never any even goes like, introduce yourself and saying I'm a beat writer. Just wanted to say hi. I think he was just, it was an honor to be in that same clubhouse with him when he would sit at this big round table and Mike Murphy would bring him food and, players would come up. We talked to Brandon Crawford about it. Everybody had that experience with him. They would come up, he would sign things. Crawford's not the only one who got his glove signed accidentally. It happened to a lot of guys. So it was just special to just watch. I think my favorite memory is Michael Morris, who was about 6'5", 245 probably. Willie stood up and he said, I want to go forearm to forearm with you. And he could still, in his 80s, this is probably 14, he's 83 maybe, and he can still stand up there, and you could see that the hands, the forearms, just physical tools that made him the best player of all time.
Yeah, and the stories about him at the table in the clubhouse, that's what I've been hearing over and over again. And when you see people that are, their time is, they're being pulled in a million different directions. Willie Mays was certainly that. People valued his time, and so many people wanted to beat him. But that's what's so amazing about who he was, is he was generous with that, and especially generous to the Giants organization, wanting to be there. We just heard Dave say that he was listening to the radio calls up until very recently, all the time, cared so much about the Giants. It's obviously embedded in who he is.
By the way, a fantastic call from Dave. I think, it's an emotional moment, and I know everybody who was there in Chicago, I've talked to a lot of them today, they all felt kind of the same way. Like, some people got a little bit of a heads up, and that allowed them to just soak it all in a little bit, because it hit everybody really hard. And I think Dave did a great job of that. But yeah, to me, the thing we've learned the last few days, and not learned, but the thing that's been reiterated is generosity. It is with his time, with his money. I remember Britt told me the first day of spring training, Willie walked in and handed him a bunch of autographed baseballs, just put a box on his desk. His first day on the job, Willie said, "You're going to need these," and he knew. And he said, "I really appreciate it because it was subtle, and it was a guy who knew that at some point, my kids or my friends or somebody would say, 'Can you get Willie to sign something?' And instead of making it awkward, instead of making Boach go and find him and ask, is it okay? He just came and said, 'Here you go. Give these to friends, give these to family members.'"
That says so much about who he was. You knew that people didn't want to come up to him and have to make that request, make that ask. That's what Brandon Crawford said, just come over and he signs it. He knew that people wanted that would be so meaningful to them. And that's who he was. So it's great to be here in Birmingham, Alabama, at Rickwood Field, the oldest ballpark in the United States of America. I'm sure many of you have heard that time and time again throughout the week. But it is historic. We're looking out on the other side of this camera. You can see old stands. I don't know if those do look to be.
They do look,
pretty original. I mean, they're old. I don't know how original, and then they've built it out more outside of that. And also one thing that I think is really neat tonight that you can't see on camera, but just on camera, there's the original scoreboard for Rickwood Field that has had to be rebuilt throughout the years and painted just because it's wood rots. But tonight for this game, they have it set at 8:24. Tonight, and that honors Willie Mays and the way that he wore number 8 with the Birmingham Black Bears in 1948, and then obviously went on to wear number 24 with the New York Giants and the San Francisco Giants. It's these subtle nods to Willie Mays. There are also some not so subtle nods. A huge number 24 right behind home plate that you'll see on the broadcast tonight. So a lot of tributes around the park to Willie Mays.
I think probably some changes, to the pregame stuff and during the game. It's one thing that stood out to me was the Cardinals also wearing the number 24 patch, which is very cool. Hunter Pence. You need to get your
is here in Birmingham.
Same question we've asked everybody. And first, thanks for joining us. But what was your first experience with meeting Willie when you became a Giant?
Oh my gosh, it's hard to speak at first, and then he's so loose and so easy. He just wants to talk baseball, and then all of a sudden he becomes your best friend and your mentor right away. And he'll tell you anything. You can ask Willie anything, and he'll just come right back at you with the authentic truth of how he's feeling, and it's absolutely amazing.
He was the best player of all time. You are one of the more unique players I've ever seen. What did Willie think of I'm sure he loved the way you played in the full throttle way, but what did he think of the swing and some of the, idiosyncrasies of the way you played?
He always just tried to give me tips and things to help me get good. And he would tell me if I was a little out of line. He'd be like, "You're swinging too hard, Pinsky. You got to take it easy, man. You got to relax. You're going to get 20." But he'd always just give me real sound advice and whatever he was saying. And he always said such good words to me. And he was always so kind. He's like, "I love your hustle. I love the way you play with heart. That's the pride of being a Giant." And so it always felt good to have him have your back, and he elevated this whole franchise. When he put on the black and orange, the fact that the greatest of all time wore that jersey and played the way he did, it meant something to all of us, and we loved having him around.
You turn around and you see center field here at Rickwood Field, and that's where Willie Mays got to start. Is that surreal to be here in Birmingham at Rickwood?
It is absolutely surreal, and like to see the pictures and to hear the story. And he was in high school, and he was just, coming out on Sunday playing against professional players, steel mill workers. What an absolute natural talent and a great gift, and the fact that it all started here, and not only him, but all of the great players and the style of baseball that they brought, a daring and dashing style, and some of the greatest players of all time, but also some of the greatest bridge builders for not only the game of baseball, but for our country. It's an absolute treasure, and I'm just so thrilled that we're doing this.
I just told this story. One of my best memories of him was he made Michael Morse stand up and go forearm to forearm. And he wanted to see how big Morse's forearms were. Do you remember anything from spring training with him? I mean, Willie, even when you met him, he's in his 80s, but he was so physical still.
Oh, absolutely. He shook his hand, and his hand was just massive, and his grip strength, and it was just like effortless. And he was just built different. Willie was something special.
Hunter, it's been great to see you. Thanks for stopping by.
Let me welcome in here. Have a great show. And let's go Giants.
Different kind of press box for you.
Yeah, that's true. Hunter Finn stopping by here at Rickwood Field. You turn around and it's a who's who of Major League Baseball
we have Adam Wainwright, Jake Peavy, CeCe Sabathia, Adam Jones. It's been interesting while I was watching Hunter just go around, and he was contemporaries with all these guys. He played against all these guys. So watching Adam Wainwright and Wilmer Flores, who faced off a lot, had some memorable moments. They just had a little handshake. So it's been interesting to watch.
Yeah, very cool to be here at Rickwood Field in Birmingham for this historic matchup. Glad to have you all along for the ride. You can catch and read more from Alex Pavlovic over on NBCSportsBayArea.com. We're going to say so long for now, but we'll see you back on coverage on Saturday.